Really, my dear Albert, replied Lucien, lighting a manila at a rose-colored taper that burnt in a beautifully enameled stand. How happy you are to have nothing to do. You do not know your own good fortune. And what would you do, my dear diplomatist, replied Morcerf, with a slight degree of irony in his voice, if you did nothing? What, private secretary to a minister, plunged at once into European cabals and Parisian intrigues, having kings and, better still, queens to protect, parties to unite, elections to direct, making more use of your cabinet with your pen and your telegraph than Napoleon did of his battlefields with his sword and victories, possessing 25,000 francs a year besides your place, a horse for which Chateau Renaud offered you 400 louis, and which you would not part with, a tailor who never disappoints you, with the opera, the jockey club, and other diversions. Can you not amuse yourself? Well, I will amuse you. How? By introducing you to a new acquaintance. A man or a woman? A man. I know so many men already. But you do not know this man. Where does he come from? The end of the world? Farther still, perhaps. The deuce. I hope he does not bring our breakfast with him. Oh, no. Our breakfast comes from my father's kitchen. Are you hungry? Humiliating as such a confession is, I am. But I dined at Monsieur de Villefort's, and lawyers always give you very bad dinners. You would think that they felt some remorse. Did you ever remark that? Ah, depreciate other persons' dinners. You ministers give such splendid ones. Yes, but we do not invite people of fashion. If we were not forced to entertain a parcel of county boobies because they think and vote with us, we should never dream of dining at home, I assure you. Well, take another glass of sherry and another biscuit. Willingly. Your Spanish wine is excellent. You will see we were quite right to pacify that country. Boobies. Folks, sorry. Listen, sometimes, as dumb as I feel 99% of the time on this show, I am told that this is a audacious project that most people, normal readers, wouldn't undertake. So sometimes I gotta cut loose and just laugh and point out that he used the word boobies. But did you catch it? Did you catch it? Of course you caught it. You caught it before I did. I'm sure you did. Debray, while confessing his hunger, says he dined at Monsieur de Villefort's, and that lawyers always give you bad dinners. So this chapter, this tiny little itty-bitty chapter, maybe the smallest chapter we've had in this book so far. We've had the return of Danglars, the return of Villefort, all happening on the property of Fernand. Holy cow, this is a turning point, folks. And Dante is on his way. Are we done with Franz now? What purpose does he serve the story anymore? I suppose. Oh, you know what, Landon? Don't speculate. You're either going to ruin it if you're right, or you're going to be embarrassed if you're wrong. But I had an idea. I just had an idea right then. I want you to note this moment in time for down the road, should Franz reappear. I have an idea of how Dumas might employ him. And right now, this very second, is the moment I had that idea. Okay. What else? What else to talk about today? Let's, I went so far off the deep end yesterday talking about their friendships. Let's just talk a little bit about Debray and what's going on here. Yesterday, Albert was ribbing him a little bit for nonchalantly displaying his blue ribbon of Charles III. Remember, he was like, oh, don't pretend you don't care. We know, everyone knows you're so excited to have it, and that's why you showed up early, just to show it off. Debray was like, oh, this old thing, yeah, I suppose it looks good in a mirror, but, it is what it is. And today, well, and the end of yesterday, too, let's not forget, Debray was ribbing Albert for having a life of leisure, and Albert responds in kind, or that was today, sorry, that he himself, with the vacuum of nothing to do, has filled his time as a diplomatist, someone who engages in European cabals and Parisian intrigues. He is uniting parties and directing elections, pointing out Debray's privilege as well, saying the opera, the jockey club, other diversions, and you still can't find entertainment in your life. Very well. I'll do it. And then goes on to say that he's going to introduce Debray to Dante. I don't think we have any question over that, but flaunting the idea of this new acquaintance as if he himself is a blue ribbon from Charles III. And how is Dante going to react to all these people doing all these things? It's a good question, and I'm glad I asked it, because I know I'll get the answer. We just have to keep reading, which we will do as we conclude chapter 39 tomorrow. And here's the thing, folks. Usually, I go and read the Robin Buss translation at the end of every chapter so that I can have a certain continuity in my head and not have the broken up experience of this, which I realize sounds like I'm torturing you by going through one page a day and then going and reading the full chapter on my own. What I mean by that is that I want to reinforce the story for myself. Why am I explaining this to you? I just have time to fill, I guess. I want to reinforce the story for myself, but I'm also interested in how the translations are different, what they do, and this is the very reason. Why is the Robin Buss translation so much longer than this? And how do I know that? Well, I have a kind of a obsessive trait with books to always look ahead to see how long the next chapter is. I think it just comes from wanting to know how much longer I have to sit, whether or not my butt can handle it, if I can hold my pee for one more chapter or not. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'll bring it up in therapy and give you an answer. But the point being, I know the Robin Buss translations chapter is longer. I don't know why, though. So I'm hesitant here. Do I wait until the end of chapter 40 to read it? Like, maybe there's a translation issue where Robin Buss decided to put part of what's included in chapter 40 into chapter 39, like a different break, because we talked about the serialization of things and how the chapter breaks are kind of arbitrary to how they appeared in the newspapers of the time. And from what I know, reading some of the introduction to the Robin Buss translation is that one went back to the original source text in French to retranslate it. It's like remastering a movie in 4K. And the intention was to be closer to Dumas' initial intention. So maybe he's just placing the chapter break differently. And if that be the case, then that makes sense to wait to read Robin Buss until the end of chapter 40, because the end of chapter 40 is quite a long ways from now. In fact, I would say it's almost 1 month from now, 27 days. So I might not have the answer to this mystery until the end of chapter 40. And therefore, I will stop bringing it up. Cool. I'm glad we had this talk. You wanna say meet back here tomorrow and finish this chapter? Cool. Awesome. Me too. I will see you then. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.